If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 40 of Horsin' Around right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your proud host, Howard Kravitz. Thank you very much for joining us on a very special night as we are here to preview the 2025 NHC, the National Horse Players Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada this weekend. I am very excited to have some fantastic guests joining me tonight, along with one of our co-hosts from our show. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bottom right-hand side of the screen, the notification bell, and smash that like button. We'd really appreciate that as well. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We've got a fantastic tip sheet. Look below the video player in the description for information about our Power Picks tip sheet. It's highly profitable, very inexpensive. Can't recommend it enough. We also have a fantastic website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Like I said, we are here to preview the NHC. It's simply one of the best tournaments in the world, if not the best. It is a $2 mythical win place. It is not a live money contest. It's a very different format than the BCBC, but the winner of this event is considered certainly one of the best handicappers in the world, and there's going to be probably close to 800 people competing in this year's event. Before I bring on my guest, let me bring on co-host. He is the host of Bet and Booze, and he's also be competing in the Thursday Last Chance event, and he is becoming an experienced contest player. Let me bring him on from Wisconsin, Mr. Kyle Roscoe. Kyle, how you doing tonight?
Good. Yeah, I fit right in with the two guests we'll bring on later in a little bit. But yeah, man, just happy to be excited considering we're going to be in Vegas, and I'm going to be in Vegas in less than 48 hours. And man, am I ready? One, from work, but two, ready to make some damn money and hopefully get a lot of winners this weekend.
It's really exciting. Now, Kyle, quick, we are live. Small host fail. I need you to do me a favor. So I'm going to take you off the screen when I bring another two.
Yep.
We need to open up some room on our StreamYard because we're over the limit for our recordings, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to take you off. If you can go on and delete some of the older ones, you know what I'm talking about, because we're not on X right now. I don't know if we will become on X once we create space, but if not, we'll find a way to get it up on X. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Production meeting in the middle of the show. Okay, so I'm going to take you off and just, you know what I'm talking about, just delete a few older shows to open up some room, and then we'll bring you back on. Thanks, Kyle. All right. Well, let me. What? Oh, there we go. Take them off. All right. Let me go on and bring on two very special people. We got two former champs coming on right now, and I'll tell you what. Not only these guys, watch our podcast and supporters of the HHH Racing Podcast, but they're two really good guys. I've gotten to know both of them a little bit, especially last year's champ over the past years. He was on our podcast. We've had the chance to talk to him. And I'll tell you what, you want to learn about how to play contests. I can't think of who to do it better than with two former champs. Let me bring on first the 2021 NEC champ, Mr. Justin Mustari, and last year's champion, the reigning champion of the NHC, Mr. Mike Gillum. Gentlemen, congratulations, of course, on being champions. How are we doing tonight?
Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Well, look, it's great to have you guys on. We're going to talk about the NHC quite a bit. We're going to be on for about 40 minutes. We're going to chop it up from a lot of different avenues. Before we bring on Kyle and get in details of the contest, this is a very unique situation, Justin and Mike, because you guys can talk to each other about how it feels to be champions of the NHC. So, Justin, let me go to you first. Any advice right off the top for Mike Gillum as the returning NHC champ?
Yes, I need to hear this. Let me hear it.
Yeah, I mean, going back after you win is the greatest thing. Everybody knows who you are. It's one of those, this contest is always going to be just dear in our heart just because of the circumstances. So no matter what the outcome is at the end of every year, just going back every year is just.
Justin froze a little bit. We'll get Justin back on there. But Mike, let me talk about your thoughts. I mean, we're going to talk about. Sorry, Justin, you froze up there a little bit. You go ahead and finish, Justin. I don't know if you finished your thought.
No, that was it.
All right, Mike, I don't, to say returning champ, I mean, you are returning, but there's 800 some people. I mean, I don't know what your expectations are, but I mean, just to be in the room and just, then people asking you, congratulating you, it's got to feel real good. And I would assume there's zero. How could you have any pressure? I mean, you just won the damn thing last year, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to put any more pressure on myself than there is already. My goal is just to go and try to cash. I mean, that's really my main goal, right? I'm going to try to do the same thing I've done and just try to make it to day 3 and cash and see what happens. You never know.
No, I mean,
I'm not going to, overcomplicate it. So.
Well, why don't you talk very quickly about last year's run? I mean, just for just a minute. Now, you were able to get to the final day, obviously, but you were what, 61st, 62nd going into the last day, and you were, to even make the final table is quite amazing. Talk very briefly about your strategy and your run on Sunday last year in particular.
Yeah, Sunday, once I made it in after day 2, I was so relieved. And then it was just a matter of let's move up the board, started in 64th out of 77. I just had one entry last year, and my goal was just to move up because every spot you're going to be gaining a few $100s. And I'm going, we go there. It's a free roll, right? We've already put our time and money in and effort, and now we go and they pay for everything, food, board, everything. It's a free roll. So let's try to win something. So I'm not going to put any more pressure on myself. That needs to be my goal is to try to just, cash again. Of course, I want to win it, and I'm going to do everything I can to win it, but I'm going there to just come home with some money.
Yeah, Justin, we've talked about this. You were on last year, and I mean, goals, everyone wants to win. Obviously, you guys have done the rarest thing, which is actually win. But what's your realistic goal going into this year's event, Justin?
Yeah, like he said, making it to day 3 is the accomplishment you're looking for. And you don't know what people at the top are going to do. They could run off, and it could be very hard to get to that point. And there's going to be strategy involved to try to get into the top 10 or just move yourself up and get some extra money. But making it to Sunday is the most important thing, and see where you're at from there.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of people watching. We've got a lot of people in the chat. One of the things I'd like to do tonight, guys, is almost treat this like a radio show and really take a lot of questions in the chat. So let's talk. We got Jackson Muniz is here, who is now a family member, so to speak, of the HHH Racing Podcast, and I don't believe he will be out there this year, but he's very excited about Vegas. We've got Sylvain Paulhouse, who's from Canada, NHC time. Hi, everyone. What's up? We got Terry Frank. How about Terry Frank? Unbelievable. He's been Rookie of the Year, last year in the NHC Tour. And then he just got his second entry. He's from St. Louis. Kyle, I know you can hear me. Do you want me to bring you on, Kyle? You ready to go? Or is that a yes, Kyle? Yeah? Okay. All right. Yeah, don't worry. That was a host fail, Kyle, on my part with the
from what I found, it's on Twitter's side anyway. So
that's okay. Side, so. No problem. Robbie Courtney's here. Let's roll NHC or bust. Oh, look who's here. Matt Miller. Hi all. I've been pumping iron for a full year in order to try to look at least half as buff as Mike did as he pumped his arms in victory. Mike, I'm assuming you're a little bit sick of the Life Changer commercial and ready to move on to a different quote.
That's brutal. Yeah, let's move on.
I know you sounded fine, man. Don't even worry about it. Let's see. I'm just looking at some other comments in the chat about the NHC. Yeah, we'll get to all of them. Again, here Matt again. Something key to Mike's win last year, he didn't overcomplicate each day by changing his picks based on odd swings. He pretty much went with his picks and didn't get distracted by that. How'd you do that, Mike? I mean, Justin, we're going to talk about strategy and Kyle in a little bit, but I mean, how'd you just ignore the board, basically? You just stuck to your guns, man. It was really incredible.
Well, you set a goal at the beginning of the day and you try to achieve that goal. And there's so many races that you can get to that figure. There's no reason to swing for the fences on every single pick. Now this year I'm going to have a problem because I have 2 entries and now I may be juggling back and forth. So I'm not sure how I'm going to really play it. But last year, I just wanted to play, what I liked. And you can always change, but, stick to your game plan until it was too late. And then you can make adjustments, but it just happened to be never too late. I mean, at the very end of day 2, I had to hit a 4-5 and a 6-5 even to make it to day 3. And I did make one adjustment in 3 days. And I changed something from a 6-1 to a 4-5, but it got me to day 3. And that's what I need to do. So
unbelievable. For those of you who are watching live, if you have friends that are trying to watch us on X, we are on at 20 links clear, which is Ryan Anderson's X account. So go ahead, Kyle.
I got it to work. I figured it out.
All
so
of
we're
our
good to
X?
go. Yep. We're all good to go.
Okay. Oh, you did. You're working on it. Well, you got yours. Oh, you're fixing the other ones, or are they going to come on now?
Everything's up. Everything's good to go.
Okay, because what I see, it's only yours and Kyle and Ryan's right now, is what I see. But I'll let you keep trying to figure that out. Anyways, let's get into the conversation about the NHC. So let's talk about the structure. It's the same as last year, Justin. They altered it last year. Let's talk about Friday. 6 mandatory and 10 optionals. There's 16 races Friday. Saturday, it's 8 and 12. Talk a little about your strategy each day, although I assume your strategy Saturday might differ depending on what happens Friday.
Yeah, I normally play it where you kind of pick a target score, usually around $100, and that score potentially changes based on my handicapping. So I'm not going to go in there and be the type of person to say, okay, I am only going to play 6-1s to 12-1s. Maybe my handicapping doesn't allow for that to happen for that day. So it's really dependent on what I like, and I'm not going to change that based on what other people think you should do or what the math says in terms of getting to the top of the leaderboard. Friday is the day that you just position yourself and make sure you don't lose it on Friday, and you're forced to be playing prices on Saturday that you don't like. And then if you get over that hump, don't be afraid to continue to stick to what you want to do. If you want to still play prices, that's how you move yourself up to the top. And Saturday, there will definitely be more opportunities, more races we're going to bet, but just putting myself in a situation Friday that I can play the stuff that I want to play and what I'm comfortable with.
And as Justin knows more than anyone on this screen, the cutoff line is usually about 170. I think all you guys know that I'm a full-time math teacher, so I'm very much engrossed in the numbers. And Mike, what's crazy is, and let me fall on the sword a little bit. This is my 3rd year of the NHC. I'm not an expert by any means. I haven't come remotely close to what you guys accomplished. Although I'm proud of my 40th place finish in my first NHC 2 years ago. Last year, guys, I just took way too many stabs. I was going 8-1s, 12-1s, 14-1s, horses I didn't even love. And I went too big, too early, didn't get to Sunday, made a little bit of a late run, but didn't happen. Mike, you are a guy that is very much happy with playing 3-1s, 7-2s. I think you said last year you even played some, 8-5, 9-5. I mean, I'll talk about the math behind that in a minute, but you don't need to hit cappers or bombs to win this tournament.
No, you don't. I even played a 2-5. It was a 4-horse field or 5-horse field at Laurel, and it was the favorite. I'm like, this horse can't lose. I'd rather get $4.80 in my account. It lost, but anyway, I did play. It was like a 2-5 at Laurel. I don't know if you remember that race, but it was scratched all the way down. But I did hit an 18-1 shot on day 1, and there wasn't too many long shots on day 1, and I hit some up there. Probably in the whole 3 days, I probably played maybe 4 or 5 double-digit ones. Is all. Wow. And I hit one of them, or maybe 6 or 8. I don't know, but I just tried to play who you like and just add to the total and go from there. So don't overcomplicate it. So.
No, it's crazy. You must have, go ahead, Kyle, let you talk in a second, Kyle, but I mean, you must have hit Mike at, I don't know, 60-65% to with that strat. Just absolutely unbelievable. Kyle, go ahead, jump in.
No, and obviously that's the way, and that's the way Mike bets is because that's what I try to play too. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it gets to a point, and obviously I have a question later that hits on this. When these types of tournaments, someone hits a capper, especially like late, maybe like Sunday final table, then you're really kind of chasing. But early in the contest, it's just about, like Justin said, it's kind of getting that position to where you don't have to play these bombs that you don't necessarily like on Saturday. So again, Spike, that completely speaks to me. And there's one question in the chat that I actually wanted to bring to you guys real quick, if you don't mind. It's from Nick Feldman. I feel like this is a really good thing, especially for like people that are coming first to the NHC and stuff like that. You can see on the screen now. Sorry, Howard. Okay,
go ahead.
Howard.
You do it.
Okay. Sorry, you're bringing it up as soon as I am. He said, can you talk about how picks or strategy might change when you're playing a mandatory race as compared to an optional race? Because obviously, mandatory races, there's 800 entries playing into one race. Do you take that? Obviously, Justin, I'll start with you, and Mike, feel free to add anything on. How does your strategy differ at all? Obviously, Mike, you said you play the horses you like, but between optionals and mandatories, does that strategy kind of change for you?
Yeah, I'm in the mandatory races. I'm playing the horse that I think will win. I'm on my optional races. I'm thinking about playing horses that have more value that I think can win, obviously, but getting those horses that you're playing in your optional races are the ones that other people aren't forced to play. Every 14-1, there's going to be a certain percentage of people in the mandatories who are going to play it. So if you have the 14-1 in an optional, you're one of very few who's going to have that horse. Mm-hmm. So I'm strictly playing whatever horse I think is going to win in the mandatory, even if that's going to be a 6-5.
No, and that's honestly, it's great thinking. Howard, go ahead.
Well, just as you can take the banner off the screen, yep. Kyle. By the way, Kyle, when people are like walking down the hallway and they do like I'm going to go left here and go right, and they bump. That's just what happened. Justin, I was just going to piggyback on what you said. A 10-1 hits in the option in the mandatory, it plays more like a 6-1, just because there's so many people playing the same race. Do you agree with that, Justin and Mike? Justin, you first.
Yeah.
Mike, yes, any thoughts on that? Well. And so I don't care about giving up my strategy. It's not like anyone's afraid of me of this damn thing. There's nothing wrong with playing a 3-1 in a mandatory if you love it. I mean, we've talked about it. You get $10 in a race. In this thing, that jumps you up, 30 spots, 40 spots? I mean, a tremendous amount. So I'm going to be leaning towards those kind of horses that I like that are probably less than 5-1. And if I don't love a horse that's less than 5-4-1, maybe I'll take a swing, Mike. But there's nothing wrong with going at lower prices in the mandatory races, in my opinion.
I totally agree. The problem is when a capper comes on a mandatory and you're playing a 3-1,
yep.
You're suddenly almost out of it. I mean, if a capper comes in on a mandatory and you don't have it, it's going to be hard to get caught up. And then you're just going to be way behind. At the same time, though, if you play that 3-1 and everybody else in the room is playing that long shot, that 3-1, plays like a 7 or 8-1 because you're, moved up a ton of spots, just to what you said, Howard. So it goes both ways. It's just I mean, that's the fun of the whole game, You got to play a long
Justin, if you're going to play a lower price, if you're going to play a lower price in the option or in the mandatories, Justin, I think you really have to like it because, like Mike said, although a lot of people are going to have the bigger price, if you're one of those people that doesn't, you're really behind the 8 ball. Plus, you would, in general, the mandatories are going to be open fields and wide open races, right? So the chance of a horse coming in that's 3-1 or lower is just a little bit unlikely, just on that scenario alone. Correct?
Yeah. And just to be clear, the horse that I like doesn't mean that has to be 6-1 or less. I could like the 20-1 in the race.
Absolutely.
And that's the one I'm going to play. And the other thing is, when a 20-1 wins in a mandatory race, usually the people playing those horses are the ones who are just shooting for bombs. They're not going to, and if they get in a position where they're uncomfortable because they're just playing bombs, they're going to play scared and now play the favorites or play short prices. So now when you handicap your 6-7-1s, you only need 2 of those to get back to the track of the capper that was there. So they're gonna play scared. This is a very emotional tournament for a lot of people, and I am not too worried when a capper hits in a mandatory race.
Yeah, I'm Kyle. I've learned in 3 years, like if someone hits and you hear the crowd, you hear the group, everyone in the room like going nuts, like just slow your roll. It's okay. We're playing 36 races. Yep. Like Justin said, those people are probably playing a lot of bombs that won't come in. They probably just caught the one that they needed. But this is a mental test, Kyle. There's no doubt about that too.
Oh, I mean, this tournament's the immediate, the straight definition of it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I mean, there's so many, all these optionals. There's, like Justin said, even if a big price hits, you got that one guy screaming in the corner because his 20-1 shot at Laurel Park just won in the 6th race. It could take 2 just really nice picks for you to get back to that climb. And if your goal is to make the money, you might not have to worry about one person. There's 76, 77 other people that are also in that same hunt as well that you need to beat. So I completely agree. But obviously, like Justin said, those optionals versus mandatories, you hit that bomb in an optional, that value is just exponentially increased.
Yeah, if you have any questions, by the way, any NHC questions at all for especially Justin and Mike or myself and Kyle, please put it in the chat. I'd love to take your questions. Okay, now a little math lesson, everyone. 36 races, right? Let's just go off the premise that 180 is the cap number, which is probably on a little bit of the high side. 180 divided by 36, everyone, is $5. I mean, think about that. If you can average $5, that's win and place.
Yep.
Now that's average. You're gonna make 10 grand. I mean, and what is it, Justin? $144, right? Basically, with 72 times 2. So you don't have to do that much more than breaking even to cash. It's mind-boggling. Now, again, there's people that want to do better than cashing, but if someone said you're gonna win 10 grand this weekend and you have to basically do a little better than break even or average $5 win in place on a race, doesn't seem that hard, right, Justin? Yet it's very difficult.
We might be doing that on a daily basis if we thought it was that easy.
Well, it's crazy to think about that, right, Justin?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And so, you can think about it the opposite way. You hit 5 cappers and you're going home with the trophy.
Yeah, but the problem is there's 200 races to look at over the 2 days and the 3 days, whatever. Pretty crazy. All right. I just want to throw that math point out there. 1 entry versus 2. Justin, how many do you have? Mike, how many do you have? Let's talk about that just for a few minutes. Justin, I'll let you go first. And what do you do if you have 1 or 2 entries? You have 2. Okay, Mike, how many do you have?
I have 1.
Oh, you have 1, Justin. Sorry.
Yeah, I have 1.
Mike?
I have 2.
Okay, and I have 2 as well. First time I have 2 entries. So let me go to you first, Justin. When you won in 21, how many entries did you have? And what do you suggest with people that have 2 entries versus 1 in the NHC?
Yeah, I had 2 entries the year that I won. I would say it depends on your confidence in yourself. I think there's a handful of people who are going to play very similar horses on both entries, potentially early on. And when I had strong opinions, I'd say probably at least 60% of my picks were, I was stingy. I wanted the points and I knew that I was going to win a race. Not saying I did, but I wanted my opinion to win. So I played it on both. But once you get down to that kind of cut line on Saturday, you can kind of play multiple horses, give yourself a better chance to get into Sunday, or you get both entries into Sunday. I think a guy 2 or 3 years ago finished in the top 10 in both entries. I think he won. So there's definitely some opportunities with 2 entries. And I only have 1 this year. I think I've had 2 the last couple of years in a row. And I guess it gives you a little more comfort knowing that, hey, if I like a couple prices here, play them both, see what happens. But you don't want to get in the situation where you play 2 different horses, one of them wins, and now you're just flip-flopping back and forth with those entries. So I would just say be confident in your opinions, and when you like those prices, play them on both.
Robbie Courtney at the bottom of the 2020 NHC, the leader on day 1, hit 3 cappers. Guess where he ended up day 2? Out of the money. Bombers don't tend to make Sunday. I don't have a statistical backing on that, but Robbie, I'll trust your comment on there. Mike, you and I have 2. What's your thought right now? Again, you don't have to give up as much strategy as you like, feel comfortable, but I'm going to flat out tell you what I'm planning on doing after you go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I still haven't decided. There's really 3 ways of playing. You can, just like what Justin said, play the same one all the way till the end of day 2 and then split them off and try to make one of them work or both of them work, or play totally two different separate ones, or do the hybrid and use, some, a few of them on both of them and then, veer off. I really don't know yet. I've flip-flopped back and forth. I've had 2 entries since April 7th of last year. So I've been thinking about it for 11 months, and I've gone back and forth and back and forth. And I think I just have to really see all the races, see if it's going to be raining, seeing if there's going to be a track cancellation again like last year, right. See if the races are going to be scratched down from 9 horses down to 5 horses again. So there's many different variables, and I'll make that. I think right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to trick myself into thinking I have 1 entry and make that, and then say, oh, I have another one. So let me see what I can do on that one. So and then if my second would overtake my first, then my second is now my first, and flip-flop the things, and it kind of goes away with my, get your picks in early and all, but you got to adjust on the fly. So that's my game plan right now, but it could change 17 times.
Yeah,
what do you think?
X, by the way, is up and running. We have people gradually coming up on Xing, and that's completely my fault. I apologize. So I thought this through quite a bit, Mike, and I sort of agree with you. My plan right now, and Justin and Kyle, please feel free to push back if you have other thoughts here. I'm going to play Friday like I have 1 entry. I'm going to play the exact same races for the most part on both entries, and then I'm going to reevaluate on Saturday morning, basically, is my plan. If there's a race if I really like 2 horses in a race on Friday, I might split that up in a mandatory, but my optionals are pretty much all going to be the same. Splitting up optionals, and this gets to what Matt Miller had to say. I've been living in NHC split ticket hell for the last 3 years. Such a sadly even distribution of points on both, and never quite enough to get over the hump. Frustrating. Matt's been like $10, $15 on both entries, short of qualifying. Justin, it's really a tricky dance, and you'll go crazy. So I'm going to play the same picks basically on Friday, probably a lot of the same picks on Saturday until the last 10 picks, Justin, and then I'm going to veer off sort of like you would in a live money $2 mythical. That's my thought, Justin. Again, feel free to crap on that if you want.
Yeah, no, that's what I would do. Especially on Friday, there might not be, let's say, as many strong opinions that you'd have on a Saturday. Yeah. There's bigger fields. So that's going to give more opportunities for prices too. So yeah, I would play majority of my stronger opinions together and kind of see where it goes from there. And you can make changes as it goes, but I would just pick your strong opinions and let's just go from there and see what happens.
Kyle, here's a great question that I want you to answer from Nick. Can you all talk about or talk through or give some tips on just keeping focus on what you're trying to do, but also living in the moment and enjoying it? Now, Kyle, you and I both know you got the little Matt Miller, and you definitely like to work the room, so to speak, and talk to a lot of people. And that's a lot of fun, and I plan on doing that more this year. But, with odds changing and the leaderboard, and you start thinking about money, it's hard to not, it's hard to just focus only on working the room when you've got a lot of money on the line. You like, oh, wait, maybe I should handicap this race. And talk about that, Kyle. How do you mix and match that a little bit?
Yeah, well, because I don't know about you guys. I'm not handicapping 10 races per track or 8 tracks and trying to find it that way. And that's the thing what makes the NHC so great. Is not only is it 3 days of, some of the best handicappers coming together, it's all the people in the same room that you haven't seen in 4 months and getting to talk to everybody. So it really is a big challenge to try. And if you don't have a wingman trying to say, hey, by the way, this is that optional you wanted to play 2 hours ago, and you miss it, and you're like, well, crap. So it's a very big mental struggle, not only for the marathon that is the tournament, but trying to figure out, which optionals to play, and the late money aspect of, getting the odds you want on horses, which we'll talk about in a little bit, Howard. But that's becoming more and more prevalent as this game continues to evolve throughout, 2025, 2024, stuff like that. So it's a very big mental struggle, but honestly, in my experience, I love setting timers to races that I need to go on. I'll set it like 5 minutes before these races that I've looked at and really like this horse in. And you got to make your decision at some point. And obviously at the NHC, you got to run up and, you're not going to be one of those people that's sprinting up 30 seconds before trying to find an open machine when, every single one is 2 people deep and you can't get your bet in. So I feel like that's one way to do it, but there's a ton of ways to do it.
Well, that leads to my next question for Justin and Mike, and this is from Jackson. Do you have any strategies as far as which tracks to focus on? Tracks most familiar that you're with, biggest fields, tracks most people won't focus on, all the above. Justin, what's your strategy, and has it changed over the years from that kind of question?
Yeah, it hasn't really changed. I'm playing the tracks that I really like, and those are the ones that I'm going to spend the normal amount of time that I would handicapping those races and see what type of horses come up, what type of races I like, and go from there. And then I'm going to look into some of the other tracks that I don't normally play, and I'm probably going to try to find something on a different track that's probably going to get me to pay a little bit. Because what do I know about Oaklawn that I don't play for a 4-1 versus a 10-1? If I think on paper they look the same, I'm taking the one that I'm getting better value on. So the tracks that I know are the ones that I'm going to make sure and play, but I'm going to be forced to play a couple of these other tracks.
Mike, your thoughts on that question, and might you change anything last year? I guess the answer would be no, but maybe you've had success over the last year at a track that you didn't have last year, for example.
Well, I'm just going to play who I like, and most of the time it's the tracks that you're most familiar with. So I play Gulfstream about every day, and then there's Aqueduct in Tampa Bay and a few of those. But going back to Nick's question, what I would say for that is be prepared and have a game plan. Get all your picks in first thing, and then socialize and have a great time. Enjoy the day and get all your picks in, and you don't have to worry about it. If you do all the work ahead of time, there's no need to rush to the window to get your picks in up until the end of day 2. And then, yes, you have to be on your feet and ready to make a change. But for the first day and a half, do the work, get your picks in, and have a great time. That's my advice.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I don't know. I'm just absolutely floored by that. And I say floored, not meaning it's a bad strategy. It's something that I could not ever possibly do. And the reason is, and I want to bring this up to Kyle and Justin, CAWs. This has been a major issue here. Computer wagering. We've seen major odd drops, sometimes after the race starts, etc. Justin, are you going to try to focus on tracks that you believe the CAWs won't be involved in? Are you planning on waiting to as they're entering the gate to make bets? I think this is going to be a huge deal at the NHC this year, and it's going to be a very big bone of contention for people that are going to be pissed when they think they've got a 4-1 and all of a sudden drops to 9-5.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning of the contest, Friday, half a Saturday, if I'm really on the bubble Saturday later on, I may think about that. But if you're going to play a 3-1 or 4-1, you probably have risk that that's going to drop down. Maybe you have risk of a 15-1 dropping down to a 10-1. I'm sure that that's going to happen. But if you like the value, I'm not going to let any of that type of stuff deter any of my opinions. If it happens, it happens, but it's going to happen to other people as well. So, I'm not going to let it affect anything. If it comes down to it and there's some serious money involved based on those picks, you're going to wait to the last possible second, and it's going to be in your mind. But I don't want it to affect any of my handicapping and just opinions that I'm going to have.
And Kyle, look, you can bet on you don't have to go to the machine. Starting last year, you can bet on your phone. Right. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing that. I just think that's a little risky just with my tech savvy or lack of savvy. But thoughts about waiting to the last, I won't say last second, but last 30 seconds to a minute, Kyle, to make bets based on odd drops.
I think Justin said it well, considering that, your opinion's not changing based on, unless obviously you have a 15-1 and you only like them at that price. I know there's people out there that set certain value lines and what they think the horse should be and blah, blah, blah. But if you have an opinion on that horse, Justin said it best. You're not going to sway from that because a horse drops a point down unless you get to that, that point where money starts to become a lot bigger of a point of contention. But the thing is that people on ADWs, you can look at will pays. There's so much data now. You can look at probables on what the horse is based on, multiple races in advance, or not obviously the same race, but people bet multiple races in advance, which it serves as a very good forecasting tool for what the odds will be. So you look at a horse and he's 3 points higher than what the will pays say. You can look at those and be like, okay, by post time, he's not going to be 8-1. He's going to be more like, 9-2, 5-1, that type of stuff. So there's lots of data at the hands now of the players that can also help with that issue.
Yeah. There was a comment in the chat that some Naira and Oakland restrict, CAWs. I know Gulfstream, Mike, I play Gulfstream a lot. So you and I both know the odds can definitely change there. But Mike, isn't that why people need to understand probable will pays and doubles and be able to forecast what the odds are going to be? I mean, if a horse drops from 3-1 to 9-5, but was the favorite in the doubles, that's your fault, not the fault of CAW players, anyone else, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you have, you just have to assume that they're, they are going to drop a little bit. If they go down from 5-1 to 5-2, is that worth getting off of and taking a 0, or is that worth taking a good $11 or, and moving on down the road? And I'm not going to change my picks because, the odds drop from 5-1 to 5-2. I'm going to be happy to, take that money and go. Unless you're in the middle of day 2 and you're not in contention and you have to get into contention, and then you make some adjustments. That's all. So it's not that, complicated in my opinion, but.
Oh, sure. The champ, this thing's not.
No,
you just got to beat 800 people and handicap 100 races.
No,
I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just kidding, man.
Take what they give you.
Yes. By the way, I'm one of those crazy Weather Channel watchers, Mike. I will say, just to give everyone quick, I'm not going to go through every weather forecast at every track. I will say Oakland's got a chance of thunderstorms Friday, and California is not going to be great this week with the weather. They're supposed to get a chance of rain the next few days. I'm going to just go on a limb and have a gut feel that Friday's going to be off the turf at Santa Anita for those of you who like playing West Coast races. Florida looks beautiful. A lot of places through the country look good, but California might be a little bit shaky on Friday. I just want to throw it, and definitely Thursday. Well, actually, they don't run Thursday, right? Santa Anita? No, I don't think so.
No.
Right. But anyway, Friday might be off the turf. All right, guys, we're going to go on for about 5 or 6 more minutes. I promise you guys would get you off because, heck, I've got my notes right here for Friday already. So, Justin, I know you've got a story that you want to tell, and then we'll end with some NHC final thoughts. You had a really nice score. I believe it was a pick 6 or a pick 5. I'm not sure, but you said you wanted to share it. It happened a few weeks ago. The floor is yours, sir. What happened?
I've heard
Yeah.
this one.
So since winning the NHC, I've had a bunch of friends just talk to me about learning the game and all that stuff. And I told them, hey, you want to get involved? I'm here to explain how to read programs, all that stuff. I'm even involved in getting in partners in some stuff and bet some stuff together, just talk about things just to help grow the game. And, we've played some pick 6s, pick 5s together as a couple of my buddies. And, I'll toss in $50, $100 and never really had any decent score. And a couple of weeks ago, the mandatory payout at Gulfstream, me and a buddy put a ticket together, $145 ticket, and we cashed for $164,000.
Whoa!
Wait, you were one of that? What was that? 7 or 8 people, whatever, that hit that day?
Yeah, and we were live. That was the lowest price horse that we had. We were live to another horse that I think only had 2 tickets, which would have been 1.5 million.
Oh,
So the two of you split that payout?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. I mean, that's
for a small
unbelievable.
play like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard that story down the
$145.
grapevine there, Justin. I heard that story. It's a good one.
Now, they don't show the will pays, and they usually don't tell you how many tickets are live to each horse. So how'd you know, Justin?
They said how many tickets were live.
They did.
You can kind of come up with the math equation to say, and then you can look at pick 5s, see that type of stuff. So we knew that the horse that I had, I knew that had it said had no pick 5 tickets available. So I thought potentially we had a chance at a lone ticket. And then it came up that a different horse had lone ticket.
Wow.
So I said, the math probably says that maybe 2 or 3 people have it was like a 22-1 shot. And then we had another horse at like 12-1 that probably was in the 500 to 600 range.
Wow. I mean, unbelievable. I played that day. I did not cash. I think I had 4 to 6 or something. I mean, that is unbelievable. Congratulations, Justin. I had no idea about that. That is just, I mean, that's incredible. Do you play the Rainbow Sixes, the Manitou Pals quite a bit? I know that I think your father has sort of gotten away from Gulfstream the last few years, correct?
Yeah, he's gotten away. He doesn't like the Tapeta. I still play every once in a while. And recently, just the last 2 months, I've been playing Gulfstream again because that's one of the tracks I'll play. But yeah, I mean, there's added value in those type of things. So get some friends involved and let's have some fun together.
From Jim Pilar, it sounds like first round is on Justin. Congrats, Justin. I know where you sit usually in that room, so you got to take care of me, buddy. I'm just kidding. I should be buying you.
Table will be firing, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, that is absolutely amazing. Kyle, let's end with some obvious 2 questions, and I'm going to go to Mike first, and Kyle, feel free to piggyback off what they say. Mike, how has winning the NHC changed your life over the last year, if any at all, and what do you recommend for new players out there?
Oh, geez. It's just every single day it is brought up in some way or another, and you are reminded of what just happened. And it just, there's just so many good things that have, that's come out of winning, Justin, of course, it just seems to never end. We got another week of, being the reigning champ, and then, hopefully it won't end and it'll be one more year, but I know that's a far-fetched chance, but no, it's just been incredible. Meeting so many people in the horse industry that I would never have met, getting up and close and personal with, some of the trainers and jockeys and owners at the Eclipse Award was really neat. And there's just so many things. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Actually, it was a very touching speech, Mike. I want to say that publicly. Yeah. Really good speech at the Eclipse Awards. You could feel your emotion. I can't even imagine what I'd be like standing up there. Justin knows the feeling. Both looking sharp in your tuxes, of course. But anyway, Mike, that was a great speech. Justin, it's been 4 years, man. Is it hard to believe it's been that long? And how's it changed your life, if any at all? I know. I don't know if I know you were last year when you were on the show. Let's see, bachelor party, masters, wedding. What do you got going after this year's NHC?
I spent all the money on all those things, so we haven't done many vacations since that now. But yeah, I mean, it changed my life. Winning that kind of money at that age was, I think, different than maybe somebody at an older age. But yeah, I mean, it has set me up in different ways than I could have imagined, and I would think that I'm being pretty financially responsible with the money that I've won, and extremely fortunate to be in the situation that I am. But I'll tell you, if I win it this year, I'm going to make a bad financial decision on something.
I mean, if either one of you win, there's never been a 2-time champion. So, I mean, if either one of you win, that would be, frankly, if either one of you get to the final table, I would consider that absolutely amazing. Kyle, I'll let you have the final thought either for these guys or your thoughts. You're going to be playing Thursday in the last chance, trying to qualify. And if it doesn't happen, I know you're going to very much enjoy the weekend anyway, because Vegas is one of your favorite places in the world, my friend.
I mean, come on, no matter what, everyone's going to enjoy a nice weekend in Vegas, especially you get to fly out there for free, stay for free, do whatever. But one thing I did want to say, guys, is that if everyone that's watching this didn't see it yet, both Justin and Mike, great job on that documentary that came out on Duality Sports.
Yes.
Just fantastic. They did a great job highlighting last year's NHC. If you guys didn't get to go watch it out there, go give it a watch. Again, it's a great deep dive on exactly what goes on during an NHC weekend. So would highly recommend it. But all you guys, obviously, I'll be hanging out. I'm sure I'll see you guys multiple times over the course of the weekend. Like I said, Justin, hope to see you at the craps table as we usually do throughout the weekend. But good luck, guys. And I hope to join you guys on both Friday and Saturday.
Now, Kyle, I've seen Justin at the table too. I got a feeling there might be some different colored chips out there on the table based,
Are you
based
kidding
on
me?
his Gulfstream score. Come on, Justin, you gotta take a few flyers.
There's gonna be some black and orange mixed in there.
Doesn't change for me.
No black and orange out there.
Try to win
no.
your paychecks for the week, so that's still how I play.
The grapes, the yellow birds, so they're all coming.
All right, well, let me just end the show with this. First of all, many of us from the HHH Racing podcast are going to be out there. Myself, Kyle, Matt Miller, Noah Maher, Ryan Anderson. I'm probably missing. I think that's it, Kyle. I don't know if I'm missing anyone.
So.
A lot of great friends and fans of the show will be out there. Mike and Justin, I've got hats for you coming. If we find each other, we'll definitely find each other. I got some paraphernalia for you guys. Some merch from the HHH Racing podcast. Greatly appreciate your guys' support and coming on. The thing I want to announce is our Thursday night show, Picks and Ponies, will not be live due to several reasons. So we're doing a taped show Thursday. And I think, Mike, you already talked about Colonial, which we didn't have time to talk about right now, but we are covering the late pick 4 Colonial on Saturday for our Thursday night tape show with the Virginia Oaks and Virginia Derby. And, Justin and Kyle, that's a new track that obviously doesn't usually run. I'm assuming it's going to be one of the tracks that you can play. It's going to be fascinating, Kyle, to see how that track might play. There's some pretty big fields. It's going to be interesting. Kyle, I'm going to take a look at Colonial. I'm assuming everyone on the screen will at least take a look at it. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, I love Colonial, and it is already an eligible track. It doesn't have a mandatory, but for the last chance, it is on there. So all races are available for optionals. So it'll be really interesting to see how it plays.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Thursday race 2 and 3 has 5 horses in. Just a heads up.
Haven't looked at it yet, but
I know. I don't know if I have it up. Let's see. I don't have it up right now, but I know the Saturday specifically, late pick 5 has some big fields. I know that.
Nice.
So I'm assuming they're going to have it, and it's going to be really interesting. So anyway, I appreciate you guys coming on. When get you off the air, get a chance to go handicap. I wish you guys a ton of success, as if you need more success, but I wish you guys a ton of success. But most importantly, Mike, I think you hit it. Make your plays, have fun, enjoy the moment. It's just a big party out there for everyone, and it's just going to be fantastic. I look forward to seeing all friends and fans of the show out there in Vegas at the Horseshoe, the 2025 NHC. For my wonderful co-host Kyle Roscoe and champions and guests Justin Mustari and Mike Gillum, this has been your host Howard Kravitz. It's been episode 40 of Horsin Around. This is a very simple way to end this show. Crush your bets at the NHC this weekend. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.